Number 5, fill in the missing information in the frequency distribution. Alright, so we have a frequency distribution. Here's our classes and frequencies. Now we want to fill in these remaining columns from that. So the midpoints, let's start there. For a midpoint, we're talking about the midpoint of a class range. So we're just looking for the middle value there. So if I take the lower class limit plus the upper class limit and divide by 2, that's going to give me the middle value. So 5.5 is the midpoint of the first class. Now, for the next class, if I do 12 plus 23 divided by 2, 17.5 is the midpoint of the next class. Alright, if you'll notice, those are off by 12. Because if I take 17.5 minus 5.5, I get 12. All of the lower class limits are off by 12. All the upper class limits are off by 12. So in effect, you can just get the first midpoint and just continually add 12 to it, and that'll give you the rest of the midpoints. So my next one here is 29.5, and the following after that is 41.5. Okay, so there's the midpoints. Relative frequency. The relative frequency is essentially the percent of the overall. To calculate a relative frequency, what we're going to need to know first of all is the total of all the individual frequencies. So 6 plus 7 plus 4 plus 3. So the total I have here is 20. So that's what I'm going to use as a divisor for each of my relative frequencies. So the first relative frequency is going to be the class frequency of 6 divided by 20. So 0.3 is, that'll be good. And that's my first relative frequency. Next relative frequency would be 7 over 20. Okay, so 0.35. And then 4 divided by 20. It's going to be 0.2. And lastly, 3 divided by 20. 0.15. And that's all there is to relative frequency. Whoops. Now, cumulative frequency, it's a running total of each of the individual class frequencies. So I just start with the very first class frequency of 6. That's going to be the cumulative frequency for the first class. Okay. Then I take the 6 and I add to that the 7. So 6 plus 7 is 13. So that means the cumulative frequency for the second class is 13. Alright, and I keep doing a running total here. So 13 plus the next class frequency of 14. I've got a total of 17 so far. And then 17 plus 3 more. That gives me the last cumulative frequency, which always is going to be the same as the total frequency of 20. And that's how you take care of those.